We're about to dive into the story of Terry Lennon, an artist with one of the most, truly distinctive voices in modern reggae. But this isn't just a story about hit songs, oh no. It's a journey through unbelievable hardship, betrayal, and a fight to reclaim not just a career, but his entire identity.
If you know reggae, you absolutely know these lyrics. They're from a massive hit, and it was born from a real-life story of heartbreak. But the crazy part is how this theme of betrayal would just keep showing up, becoming a much more dangerous echo throughout Terry Lennon's whole life and career.
So, to really get who this man is, we've got to go all the way back to the beginning, back to his humble roots in rural St. Elizabeth, Jamaica. This is where that incredible voice was first discovered.
Yeah, before he was Terry Lennon, he was Kipling Simpson. Just a young boy being raised by his grandparents, growing up a long, long way from the big music studios in Kingston.
You can really see how all the pieces of his musical DNA came together right here. His spiritual side, that came from singing in his grandmother's at-home church services literally every single night. But at the exact same time, he was soaking up the culture from local sound systems and hearing guys like Bob Marley on the radio. It's that blend of gospel and roots reggae that created the totally unique sound he'd become famous for.
And here's where he gets the name. His voice was so pure, so smooth, that his friends started calling him Lennon because it reminded them of another icon, the great Garnet Silk. I mean, what a compliment, right? It was an early sign that his talent was something else. And you know what? The name stuck.
All right, so Terry makes his way from St. Elizabeth to Kingston, the heart of the whole Jamaican music scene. And this is where everything, and I mean everything, changes for him practically overnight.
12 weeks. Just let that sink in. That's how long his cover of Whitney Houston's Your Love Is My Love sat at #1 on the reggae charts. This wasn't just a hit song, it was a straight-up phenomenon. It took him from being a promising new voice to a household name.
And this was the moment, the exact moment. The legendary producer Robert Livingston, we're talking the guy who worked with Shaggy, he heard the potential right away. He played the track for Terry and basically told him, this is it, your life is about to change forever. And he was so right. Terry recorded it the very next day. So of course, that monster hit led to his classic, self-titled debut album in 2001. And it was just packed with songs pulled directly from his own life. Songs about love, heartbreak, faith. Tracks like Couldn't It Be the Girl for Me and Jah You Save Me weren't just catchy tunes. They were real, authentic stories, and people connected with them on a really deep level. But with that kind of massive success came a pretty dark side. As his star was rising, he started to face this intense resistance, not from competitors, but from inside his own industry, even from other artists. Terry himself called this time a period of tribulation. In his own words, you can hear that resilience for sure, but you can also hear the struggle. On the surface, things looked great, but behind the scenes, a battle was just getting started. And this slide really lays it out, the wild difference between what people saw and what was actually happening. The world saw a star with #1 hits flying all over the globe, but the reality behind the scenes, it was grim. Terry said that other established artists were so jealous of how fast he blew up that they actively had him kicked off of tours, blocking his exposure, and of course his money.
Now, as bad as that was, all that industry politics was nothing. And I mean nothing, compared to what happened next. This is where the story takes a turn that is so shocking, it's hard to believe. It's a betrayal that put not just his career, but his freedom and his very life on the line.
For Terry Lennon, this question became a real-life nightmare. And the person doing it wasn't a stranger. No, it was someone he knew from his youth. Someone from his own community who started using his identity to commit crimes.
And this went on for years. This guy would call people up, sing Terry's songs over the phone to prove he was the real deal, and then scam them out of money for recordings that were never going to happen. But it got so much worse than just money. The impersonator's actions eventually led to the death of his own father, a tragedy that would end up having devastating consequences for the real Terry Lennon.
It's unbelievable. Because of what the impersonator did, the police came looking for Terry Lennon. He and his brother were arrested and thrown in jail. Think about that. The victim of identity theft for years was now being treated like a potential murderer. It was the absolute rock bottom. So how does anybody come back from something like that? For Terry, the answer was the same one that had been with him since he was a kid in his grandmother's church: his faith. These lyrics from one of his very first songs basically became his reality. He leaned on his faith to get through the betrayals, the financial problems, the wrongful arrest. It was the one anchor that allowed him to keep singing his song, literally and figuratively.
And he channeled all that pain directly into his purpose. He started creating what he calls healing music. He truly believes his gospel songs carry an anointing, a spiritual power that can help heal other people who are going through their own tribulations. He turned his absolute worst experiences into a source of strength for everyone else.
Okay, and this brings us to today. You're not going to believe this, but the impersonator is still out there. So to fight back, Terry has done something pretty extraordinary. He's made his personal official phone number public. We're putting it on the screen right now, 1-876-575-7062. It's the only way to get in touch with the real artist for bookings or anything, and to finally cut out the fraud for good.
So it all really comes down to this question, doesn't it? Terry Lennon's story is just this powerful testament to talent and faith in the face of things most of us can't even imagine. It's a fight for his name, for his music, and for his very identity. And it reminds all of us just how powerful a true, authentic voice really is.